Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Libraries Open podcast. I'm really excited because today we have special guest and a former colleague of mine, Toby Riesterer. Toby is a videographer, owner of Riesterer Productions, and currently a digital media specialist at Pasco County Libraries, a partner of ours. Welcome, Toby.
Thank you, Elise, for having me.
You're welcome. Is this your first podcast that you've ever been on?
I think this is only second time I've been on front of the camera,
Wow.
not
Well,
not counting like college productions. So yeah, so
I
this is a big deal.
wow. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. So, I wanted to talk to Toby a little bit today about videography in libraries because it's an aspect of library marketing that not all libraries get to utilize. Some bigger library systems obviously have professional videographers on staff, which we're going to talk about. And we're also going to talk today about how, if smaller libraries want to start using video to promote services, ways that they can do that effectively. So we're going to talk about a lot of things today. But first, Toby, I want to ask you about how you got into videography and then specifically how you got into library videography and how that worked out for you. So take it away.
We're going to try to make it through this podcast without laughing like children.
Yeah, so okay, quick recap. So Toby and I, we used to work at the Tampa Bay Library Consortium together. So we had that was a consortium that served, it was a multi-type library consortium in mid-central Florida that served over 18 counties, and it offered video production services to libraries. So Toby and I worked together coordinating with libraries on videos they'd want to make, and then we also worked together at Pasco County Libraries. And so yeah, we're goofballs, as you will see, but go ahead, Toby. I'm
Well, more context is whenever we had Zoom meetings, we would see who could make the other person laugh or break on camera. So yeah,
yeah. So
this
we'll
is
see. This is gonna be interesting.
yeah. So I started making movies when I was a kid. I think around 8 years old. My dad shot a lot of home videos with me and my sister growing up, and I kind of just took interest with that as a kid. And in middle school and high school, I started doing, stupid jackass style type videos with my friends, whatever made us laugh. And this was before YouTube, so it was just between us, us friends watching everything. And then in college, I majored in communication arts. And that's where I started to volunteer on my college's TV station, which was WSTU TV 95. So I covered campus events, made a ton of videos for them. And after college, we were in the middle of a recession. This was 2009. So I didn't find full-time work until about a year later. And even then, I worked in a mailroom just to pay the bills, and I had health insurance. Um, Luckily, a former college classmate emailed me, said, "Hey, I work at the stadium where the Dolphins play. We're looking for camera people. Do you want to apply?" It's like, yeah. And I did 4 seasons at the stadium. I shot the Miami Dolphins, Miami Hurricanes, Florida Marlins, and pretty much any event that was in the stadium. And that was a lot of fun. That's where I learned so much about broadcasting, live production, which is very stressful. I used to have hair, and from the live TV, it's all gone. So after that, I took a big leap. I moved to Montana, of all places, where it's the first time I saw snow. Being a native Floridian and all, I didn't see any snow. So I worked for a local channel. We shot college and high school sports. I directed sports also. Um, that was a lot of fun too, learning so much. And then I applied for TBLC in 2015, and I was like, yeah, it's time to come back home to Florida. So I was at TBLC for about 5 years, and then COVID happened, and I've been with Pasco since 2020 now.
Wow. So it's crazy to think you've spent over a decade now in just the library space making
Yes.
videos. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, first of all, we're old and
Millennials.
yeah, we're geriatric millennials. So that is again, that's a very unique career path because not many people end up in library videography
Yeah.
of all places. So
It, it's a very small niche. And it's funny because my dad was a librarian when I was growing up. He worked, his first job at a library was the University of Miami and later on St. Thomas University. He didn't have a library degree. He was just looking for a job. Um, he applied and he was a librarian for over 10 years, I think. Yeah. And while he was at St. Thomas, he also ran the college's TV station. So that's also where my interest kind of picked up when I would, tag along with him to work during summer and stuff. And I would just watch him shoot stuff and run the studio and interact with all these people. And I'd be like, yeah, it's something I think I'd want to do. So his career in the studio started winding down in the video aspect. His office was in the library. The studio was in the library, which is funny. Um, so he eventually switched over to libraries full time. So yeah, he'd be at the reference desk, and I don't know if he ever shelved books though. He might have. Um, so he was there at the library. Um, so St. Thomas University is part of Cephlin. So back then, Charles Mayberry, who we're acquainted with, asked my dad, "Hey, we want to start recording some videos for Cephlin of our annual meeting. Are you interested? We'll buy you the equipment. You'll keep the equipment at St. Thomas, and you'll just do the videos for us." He's like, "Yeah, sure. I got, my bozo son. He'll tag along and help." So we made some videos for Cephalin back in 2008, I think. So yeah, it's a very unique career path.
and well, I'm so glad you touched on that because Cephalin is a Bywater partner as well. And also something that always was heartwarming to me is when you talked about the work you did with your father and how you were actually awarded. Didn't Cephalin give you an award for your work before, or they honored your dad, or there was some kind of
Yeah, I think at the annual meeting they had like an awards ceremony and we got some recognition, which I got the photo hanging up right here. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was great. And I've known Charles ever since. And I hear he's newly retired. So congratulations, Charles. Well deserved.
so really it's been over a decade of working with libraries.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah.
Yeah, which that's incredible. So I kind of want to get into the meat and potatoes of your career. And so I believe the number of videos that you've produced just for working at TBLC is very high. We've counted over the years, and I believe it's somewhere between 400 and 500 just during your time at TBLC alone.
It's over 400. Yeah. Like 430-ish. Yeah.
Wow. Because
I every year, I kept a production log of all the videos we made, but I didn't count the videos that were never posted or made public, and I need to start doing that because, a final product was made. So, you know,
yeah, because I think at one point when we were really there was times where we were doing like 2 to 3 video shoots a week, if I remember correctly.
I went up to 4 or 5 actually, so one a day, more or less. Yeah, yeah, and we've had twice in one day also.
No, that's huge. So going back, do you remember when the you were hired on to do the video production program and when it first got started? I mean, what kind of things were people asking you for? I mean, what, because that was a little before I started. What was like the biggest thing that people wanted at that time? What kinds of videos were they asking for?
Uh, Short promotional pieces about events and programming. That was pretty much the bulk at TBLC for the member libraries. And then we had larger projects like the Comic Cons, which I think at Clearwater I did 4 or 5 consecutive years at their Comic Cons. One time on my birthday, so that's some dedication right there.
Dedication.
Yeah, and shout out to Patrick Creel also, by the way. He's a dear friend of ours, and
We love Patrick Creel. Patrick, I hope you're listening to this.
he did a lot of projects for us at TBLC, some unpaid. So we really thank him for that, and he's doing great at the Tampa Bay Magazine right now.
Yeah, so Patrick, for these Comic-Con videos, Patrick was the MC, so he was hosting. He was like the TV news anchor. It was hysterical. I'll have to share the link to some of these videos. I mean, the production of these were insane. Like Clearwater, the system has 5 different branches, I think, and so one of them, Toby had Patrick running from branch to branch, and it was
So I stole the idea from the first episode of the Tonight Show when Conan O'Brien hosted. So literally, I copied the exact same format. And the Conan show, he was in a hotel room overlooking New York City, and he's in a hotel room, and he's got a list of things to do before he moves to California to do the Tonight Show. And check, check, check. All of a sudden, oh, I forgot my keys. You know, and so he's literally running through the U.S. state to state, to showing different national landmarks of him running across the country to California. So I did the exact same thing. We had a list. Patrick checked off the list of stuff, and we had him running from branch to branch. Each Clearwater branch, there was a shot of him running to the main branch, which is where the con was. So,
yeah, it was. I'm going to share a link. It was so good. Would you say, I mean, that was probably up there with one of your favorite videos you've ever produced?
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the documentary that we made, also a Clearwater production,
Toby
which,
won an award for that, actually.
well, we won an
Well,
award.
yes, there was a collective award.
I shared, yeah.
And I have to go real quick and just share about we made a music video for St. John's River County,
Indian River.
Indian River. Thank you, thank you. Um, and they did a parody of that Bruno Mars song. That's what I like. That's what I like. And there was a whole choreographed routine. We were
Yeah.
there all day. I think that was
Yeah.
Toby's first music video too. Right? Wasn't that your first music
Um,
video?
no, I did some like in college, like dinky stuff.
Okay.
Like, you
Okay.
know,
But this was
this is
it,
big.
this was big. It literally took all day. And
Well, the drive alone
yeah.
to the East Coast,
Yeah, for people
two
that aren't in
hours.
Florida, they called it the Tampa Bay Library Consortium, but it covered a whole swath from the east to the west coast of Florida. So where we were doing this was on the East Coast, so we had to drive over 2 hours pretty much to get there.
I think we left at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. And so in another, I'm going to invite you back, Toby, because another episode, we're just going to talk about all the best barbecue and lunch buffets throughout the Orlampa area. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's something we did a lot of research on.
right. Yeah. 3 hour
Um,
lunches.
yeah. So do you have any other highlights from your time at TBLC?
Um, yeah, a lot of the college library tour videos we did. I really enjoyed those because those were also a big production. I remember the Valencia College videos we did. It was a series of 5 videos for the
Yeah.
library.
So these were really great for new students
Mhm.
to kind of introduce them to the library's resources and where everything was. Yeah, we did a lot of those for a while. Those tour videos were a big thing
Mhm.
for us. So, all right, I'm going to shift a little bit here now, and because we do have limited time, but I want to talk about just advocacy and video content as far as telling the library story. So why do you think video content in particular is so important to that? And, can you maybe think of some examples of how your work has been used for that over the years?
Yeah, when you're promoting something, you want the audience to be engaged. You want them to feel they're part of something or could be part of something when you're promoting it. Um, how else are libraries supposed to show off their cool stuff? Remember that You got some cool stuff.
Yeah. Hmm.
But yeah, I think video content is essential for library advocacy. It creates an emotional connection with the viewers and the patrons. It showcases the library's impact visually, and it can reach a larger audience to, there's some people who, oh, well, libraries are just, books, blah, blah, blah. But look at all these programming, and events that we do. We, Comic Cons, we have maker spaces. That's a big thing. Um, it's effective at amplifying the small voices and driving support from the public. So,
And so I know that, not every library obviously has access to a professional videographer
or two.
or two, like Pasco County does. And really, shout out to Pasco for being ahead of the curve on that. I mean, that's really amazing. So, for those library systems or libraries that don't have access to that, but they do want to create video content, and obviously we're seeing it too, obviously with Instagram has become way more video based lately, and we're seeing these incredible videos being produced on Instagram, these just dynamic, hilarious, informative videos that are really high production value. But I mean, just talk about some of the tips that you've shared for people over the years of things they can do to improve their video content they're creating on their phones, or maybe some editing software, anything, any tips that you give to people on how they can improve or even just start making videos.
Well, it all starts with an idea. And the most important thing, aside from, visuals, is your message. Is that clear enough? I recently had a project that shot a bunch of interviews, shot a bunch of footage, and the people I was working with were supposed to, you know, pull everything out of the interviews that they wanted to keep that we've done before. Like I send you the time codes, you know, what sounds the best, and I'll edit that into the final video. Um, Unfortunately, we were in such a time crunch that wasn't possible for them to do it. So I had to quickly redo everything. I mean, literally the day of the video was due, I was still working on it, which I try to avoid that as much as possible, but sometimes you can't nowadays. So, so you just want to make sure the story that you're telling matches up to your message. And if that all checks out, you're good to go. Now, I'm a big stickler for like production value and, use a tripod, have clean audio. But if you're by yourself with no professional help, it's okay. You know, as long as your message is clear, and I think you're good.
And I think that's so important because so many people I think forget about that foundational aspect of get the message. You have to know what you're, saying and what you want to promote. So I think
Yeah,
that's so important.
I don't think there's ever a too small idea when it comes to video. I would always, I don't know if you remember, but we would always tell libraries, it doesn't matter how small or how dinky you think your video is going to be or your program. We just want to get the word out. That's it.
No, I love that so much. I mean, and even just like the videos you're creating now, I mean, for the book club or, the story walk,
Yeah.
it's truly like, and at our time at TBLC, yeah, we would make videos for really small events and programs, but it still had a big impact. It's just such an important message. But I will say, Toby did have a catchphrase, which is, if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. But
Which I still follow that.
yeah,
I was going to follow that for the podcast, but there's just a lot of logistic stuff.
yes, we have limited resources,
Because we're both local, so,
but that ethos is something that I still think about to this day when I'm creating something or thinking of something, just thinking of, okay, maybe it's not too small. How can I enhance this? How can I make it better? And so thank you for that. I just want to thank you for You always inspire what I do. So thank you. And
Oh,
no, I'm not to be cheesy, but seriously. So thank you and for the impact that you've had on Florida libraries over the years.
I try.
So shifting gears once again, we got to talk about this proton pack in the background. We have to talk about these action figures in the
Oh,
background. Toby is,
don't
I
have
like
to.
to say, Mr. Halloween. So one other thing that we always did at the Tampa Bay Library Consortium is we were big on Halloween and creating Halloween videos for libraries. I think one year we did probably 25 Halloween video. I mean, it was something crazy. I'm trying to remember
I
how many.
mean, over combined, yeah, I was probably close to 30,
Yeah.
for all the time we were there.
Yeah.
There's two that stand out. One, can't remember the library system. Might have been Marion County or something. I don't remember if they're members or not, but they had a special effects makeup school come to their event and do a demonstration with zombie makeup or something. And they were going to show the original Night of the Living Dead afterwards. And if any librarians out there might know that that movie is in public domain. So I took it upon myself to edit some footage from that movie into the promo video, so I always thought that was interesting when I did that. And then another one, I think it was the St. Pete Comic Con. Do you remember? I don't know if you went to that one.
No.
Patrick, he ran through the little haunted house and the zombie scared him. I don't know if you,
I wasn't there for that, but
okay.
I heard about it.
So they also had a special effects artist come to the library and do a live demonstration on people. And his name was Scott Ferenster, and he was on the show Face Off, if you remember, on the Sci-Fi Channel, as well as special effects makeup artist. So I got to interview him, so that was pretty amazing. So
Yeah, that was a lot. I mean, it was really a lot of fun being able to be a part of all these activities and things that libraries were doing. And I did think it was really great that you caught on to the public domain aspect with the Night of the Living Dead and that you did that for
I'm
them.
a George Romero fan, so. And then the Frankenstein, um,
Yes,
the 250th anniversary, or is it 200th anniversary?
I think it was 200. So I'll have to share these pictures and when I edit, but yeah, we did a promotion for it was a library program they were doing about or no, I don't even know if it was a program. I think we were just
Yeah,
celebrating.
just to celebrate, yeah, at
Yeah.
Hillsborough.
And so, so one of the librarians dressed up as the Bride of Frankenstein, and somebody else dressed up as Frankenstein. And then there was an off-duty officer working in the library, and we did the scene where they escorted them out of the library in handcuffs.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing.
But we also shot, remember the little vignette videos with the bride and the monster, like reading to each other at the library and stuff. I gotta
Yeah,
dig those out
yeah.
stuff. And
No,
I
it was
still got that mask somewhere, not in here, but in the other room, the Frankenstein mask.
yeah. So Toby would just keep the mask in his office. So if anybody
Yeah.
walked by, they'd be like,
Oh no 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 no.
"Oh no, 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 no." And just real quick, can we talk about the Ghostbusters? Can we talk about the proton pack? Can we talk about your
Yeah, I actually have three proton packs, and a fourth one is on the way. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
four full-size ones. I have a bunch of little ones too, like kids ones and stuff. Yeah. Uh,
So Toby, do you have any other words of encouragement for libraries or advice or just a way people can get in touch with you if they have any questions about anything?
yeah, just grab a camera, grab your, cell phone and start taking video. And whatever you get, that if it works, it works. That's what I always say. Just have fun with your project. If you have any video questions, I am on LinkedIn, so yeah, feel free to look me up. And I like shooting videos. What can I say?
Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. It's
Thanks
been
for
really
having me.
interesting. Yeah, it's been really interesting to hear more about library videography, and I hope it inspires more people to start creating. We want to see what's going on at the library. So,
Yeah.
yeah. All
Show us
right.
your library videos.
Show us your library videos. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. Have a great day.